awesome video game characters out there. But despite that, there are also a lot of characters that are downright annoying. Now, I know other people like Peanut3423, Josh Scorcher, Quarter Guy, Animal Guy, and other people made their own lists, but now I think it's time to make my list. Besides, while there are some characters that showed up on other lists, there are also a lot of characters I hate that don't show up on any list. Now, I want you to keep these statements in mind. First off, I haven't played every game in the world, so none of these characters will be on the list. Second off, this list will contain spoilers. This video contains a lot of characters that happen to be well loved by many people, so if you don't like watching a character you like get hated by someone else, then don't watch the video. And there will be some villains on the list, and I know villains are supposed to be hateable, but I'm still going to put them on the list. So, that aside, let's begin.
Bert! There you are!
Travis! Took you long enough?
Thought the suspense was gonna kill me. How will he make his entrance? Is he emo or grunge? What's his fighting style? How's his broke-ass face gonna look when he dies?
If you want my honest opinion on clowns, I think they can be good or bad depending on how they are. Some of them are pretty awesome, but others are just annoying. Which brings us to Joka from Klonoa. One thing that bothers me is that even though he's supposed to be a bad guy, he pulls a Bowser Jr. and outright tells you the weakness of some of the bosses.
Make sure you watch out for your backside. Gelcomb, watch out for attacks from above.
Very stupid move there. I wanted to find out for myself what the weak spot is. I do have a problem if a boss's weak spot takes hours to find, but I at least want to have some time to figure its weak spot instead of having this guy blab out the boss's weak spots. And when Klonoa found out that his grandpa had the moon pendant, Joka eavesdropped on the conversation.
I must say, listening into your conversation has been most enlightening indeed.
And guess what he does next? He kills Klonoa's grandfather. The reason he's not higher on the list is because, well, there aren't many more reasons to hate him aside from the ones that I explained.
Now, draw your katana. I'll relish every moment, every second of this kill.
I know that villains are meant to be hated, but I still hate Garnet. Let me give you a rundown of what he does. He was originally a good guy, but then he turned evil. So he betrayed the Altian army and stole the Imuhulu, however you pronounce it. He stole that spell and it made him even more evil, which probably explains his repulsive appearance. Then he kills Marth's father and steals the Falchion. He also threatens to wreak havoc on good people's towns unless they join his army. In Chapter 17, he's completely invincible and you have to avoid him for 6 turns. Then, in the fight with him in Chapter 23, when you can finally attack him, he creates 2 copies of himself that go in different parts of the room. Thankfully, if you attack one of the fake Garnifs with anything, even if it's not Starlight, but this could also put you at a huge risk if you're using against the real Garnif. Garnif got what he deserved in the end. Keep in mind I haven't played all the way through this game to reach this character, but I found a loophole so I can include him. Besides, at least I still played the game. Let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a game called Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. A game where, at the end, you can actually face Mike Tyson, a real-life boxing champion in a video game. Sure, he's frustrating to fight from what I hear, but at least it had its source of inspiration. The problem? His contract expired in 1990 where he lost to Evander Holyfield, so the game designers decided that since Mike Tyson is no longer the undefeated champion, they should change that in Punch-Out so that instead of the very inspiring Mike Tyson, they got a replacement. And who would that be? The incredibly generic hack named Mr. Dream. I mean, this guy looks like someone who's full of himself.
You shouldn't judge anyone by appearance.
That may be true, but the game won't even tell us anything about Mr. Dream aside from the fact that he's a new heavyweight boxing champion, looks stupid, and is still the same boss as Mike Tyson, except unlike Tyson, he has no inspiration and is still the same frustrating boss. Why couldn't they come up with another champion other than this guy? And you know what's really weird? He apparently comes from Dreamland. I hope that he doesn't beat up Kirby for lunch money.
I've been waiting for this!
Normally, when people think about hated characters in the Pokemon universe, they either think about the rivals, or they're talking about Ghetsis. Well, I am proud to say neither of them are going to be on the list. Why? Because while I hate Blue, at least he gave us the Fame Checker in Fire Red, which can be really fun to use. In Silver, he was going to be on the list, but at least changed the error of his ways later on. Brendan, May, Sharon, Bianca, and Hugh were all really good friends. And Barry, at least he was somewhat funny. Besides, it was fun to team up with him on Spear Pillar. And as for Ghetsis, at least he had a very creative battle team. And as far as Pokemon villains go, he's actually quite threatening, since he's also one of the only villains that almost murdered the main character. So instead, I'll go with a much less known character. Hev. Oh gosh, Hev. What can I say about him? First, he kidnaps Keith and sends you fake voicemail pretending to be him, even though it's obvious he's tricking you by the fact that he talks really weird. And then, when you finally get the yellow gem, you find out that he kidnapped Keith, and he won't let you have him back unless you give him the yellow gem. Like, are you kidding me? I need the yellow gem in order to help me save the world. What a jerk. How could anyone hate a character from Banjo-Kazooie? It's full of entertaining characters, like Banjo, Kazooie, Gruntilda, Bottles, and several other classic characters that you all grew up with. But sadly, I didn't grow up with Banjo-Kazooie. And if you want to complain about that, then shut up! I couldn't even afford an N64 when I was a kid! Anyways, every character was at least somewhat entertaining in their own way, except for Mumbo. I do not like Mumbo. Before you start crying, let me explain why I hate him. While most of the Banjo-Kazooie cast has some pretty classic gibberish, Mumbo's gibberish is really annoying. Now to be fair, in the original Banjo-Kazooie, he could turn you into some cool forms, but why does he have to make the most annoying sound while doing it? The forms he turns you into may be pretty cool, but in Banjo-Tooie, Wumba took over his role of doing that, but at least he didn't make the most annoying sound when transforming you. In Banjo-Tooie, Mumbo's new job is being able to play as him, but he's practically useless. He can't do any of Banjo and Kazooie's cool moves, and he can't even dive or climb. The only way of defending himself is with his wand, which is a lot weaker than Kazooie's beak. And while it does paralyze enemies, there's not much of a point if it only paralyzes them for like 1 second. His only use on the field is using these Mumbo pads to use these mysterious powers to help you, but that's not much because there's only one Mumbo pad in each world. Some of them can be used more than once, but there are also some that can only be used once. So you're only going to find yourself using him for like 10% of the game. Though at least activating the Mumbo pads keeps him from being much higher on the list.
You gotta be shitting me.
Well, a lot of people say that Sonic is coming back. I think he never left us. But what many people do hate is the characters. While I think a lot of characters are awesome, there is one character I despise. No, it's not Sonic. I don't have any issues with his new look. Heck, I think he looks cooler this way. So who is it? It's Big the Cat. Big the Cat might as well be the Sonic equivalent of Dunsparce because he makes you wonder, why does he exist? His voice irritates me. He sounds like a half-awake Patrick Star holding his tongue.
That was good.
And his only way of defending himself is with a fishing rod. Who the heck hits enemies with a fishing rod? Now his stages involve him fishing, which is just plain okay. But the other characters are so awesome. Sonic can run super fast and his stages are plain awesome. Tails is a cute fox that he can fly and he's a mechanical genius. Knuckles has some sweet combat moves and he can glide. Amy wields a hammer, and Gamma is a robot that can shoot lasers and has a great backstory. Big the Cat, on the other hand, is just pointless. Heck, even his pet frog serves as a bigger purpose than him because at least it possessed Chaos's tail. Big is just stupid. He's pointless, annoying, not as cool as the other characters in the game, and he's an insult to cats. The only time he was even remotely useful was in Sonic Heroes when he was the powerhouse of the team, and he can dispatch foes easily, but even then, his voice is still so annoying!
Lucky, where are you?
Overall, he's a terrible character. Yoshi's Island is a nostalgic gem to me, but I hate Kamek. He's a decent villain, but as a character, he's so hateable. I can't tell you how many times I wanted to throw an egg at his face after seeing him mock me every time I fail a flip cards game, which, trust me, you will fail around 87.5 of the time. Because there are 8 cards, you have to hit 7 of them without hitting his card or you lose the power-ups you won in this round. There are also some instances where he outright blabs out the enemy's weak spot. He's also the reason I hate the level Kamek's Revenge, especially the helicopter portion, where you're constantly being knocked down by baseball boy eggs and Kamek flying at you, and if you don't make it to the goal in time, then unless you do the surviving trick, you die. Another reason I hate this guy is the fight with him in Paper Mario Sticker Star. Because in the battle, he turns all of your hard-earned items into sandals until the battle is over. And because your stickers disappear every time you use them, you better not have any rare items because if you do, they might go away without you even knowing it. This is even worse when you fight him in Bowser's Castle, since I used all of my hard-earned coins to stock up on a lot of super weapons and mushrooms, and they all went to waste in this battle. Overall, I hate Kamek. And before you ask, no, I didn't use up my one Mario character slot that I'm including. I count Kamek as a Yoshi character since he first appeared in Yoshi's Island, so I can still include a Mario character on here. Actually, no. I don't hate Larxene as much as everyone else does. While I did hear some of her dialogue in Kingdom Hearts 3 Chain of Memories, and I did find it annoying when I heard it in Prefer Nerd's Let's Play of it, but I personally find Saïx to be much worse. He's on the list because of his role in 358 over 2 days. First, let's start with a thing that he has in common with the other organization members. He has no personality whatsoever, but at least most of the others were awesome. Yeah, most of them. But at least some of them showed some personality, believe it or not. And trust me when I say Saïx is such a jerk. First off, he thinks that Xian is useless. Mostly because she lost against Riku. And then, later in the game, he refers to you as the one that we can't use. Like, are you kidding me? I just finished taking down 6 giant Heartless. Well, 7 if you want for Dust Flyer. I know he has no emotion, but there's a difference between emotion and common sense. I love how he's disappointed in Roxas for leaving the organization, when if he had given Roxas a better reason to stay, this wouldn't have happened. Because of this, I can safely say Saïx deserved what he got in the end. One of the reasons I delayed this countdown was long enough so I could include Dorman on the list. I'll try to explain how much I hate him without ripping off the Altaric of Flame. He tells you that the only way to resurrect Mono is to kill 16 Colossi. 16 completely innocent Colossi that didn't do anything to you. This is kind of fun at first, but after doing the same thing for over and over and over and over again, it gets kind of repetitive. Not to mention, on the way to the last Colossus, your horse Agro falls off a cliff and almost dies. Then, after you kill all 16 Colossi, what does he do? He possesses your body. Throughout the entire game, killing the Colossi was the key to setting him free, which allowed him to possess your body. This causes you to be injured by a bunch of people, one of them who stabs you through the heart. Granted, Dorman did warn you there would be a price to pay for killing the Colossi, and Wander was the one who chose to kill them, but that doesn't mean Dorman shouldn't take any of the blame. Besides, at least we feel bad for Wander in the end. Well, at least we'll get something out of this because Mono will still be resurrected. Oh, come on! You mean we did all that And all of this suffering for nothing? And you know what's really weird? Even though Dorman's the main villain, the bad guy of the game, you never actually get to fight him. I mean, yeah, you can play as him, which is kinda cool. They should at least have some sort of inner conflict between Wander and Dorman's spirits. Then when Lord Emon seals away Wander and Dorman, that's when Dorman finally decides to resurrect Mono. But, being the cheater he is, he has to wait until Wander is sealed away. Though Wander does survive. As a baby? Now Wander won't remember anything from his entire life. But at least he also won't remember killing the Colossi. But now, by the time he's old enough to get married, Mono will be way too old for him. If Dorman didn't request Wander to go on this quest, none of this would have happened. Birdo is one of the most disgusting Mario characters ever. How? Let me explain. He's a boy who thinks that he's a girl. Gosh, he is one of the stupidest Mario characters ever. In Mario Kart Double Dash, he seems to share a romantic relationship with Yoshi even though they're both boys. I bet it would break Yoshi's heart if he found that Birdo was really a boy. But then again, it's better for him to find out soon than if he were to wait until they got married. In Super Mario Advance, Birdo is more than half the bosses in the game, and most of the time he is defeated using the same formula, picking up the eggs that he shoots and throwing them at him. He admittedly comes in 3 different variations, one that only spits eggs, one that spits eggs and fireballs, and the green one, which only spits fireballs, which is admittedly challenging, but gosh is Birdo annoying, and no matter what form he's in, you can kill him in like about 10 seconds. And before you ask, no, I still didn't use up my Mario character slot because Super Mario Advance was actually a remake of Super Mario Bros. 2, which is a remake of Doki Doki Panic. Therefore, Birdo is a Doki Doki Panic character. He at least gets nostalgia points for being the first boss I ever fought, but nostalgia isn't enough to save this guy from being on my hated characters list.
Hideous. Rich assassins pull the craziest shit.
Say hello to one of the worst fathers in the world, Cranky Kong. He is a terrible excuse of a father for Donkey Kong. Now, before you whine or say, "Oh, you can't hate him, he's supposed to be funny," keep in mind that while I do find him a tiny bit funny, he's more annoying than funny. Why do I hate him? Well, he was the original Donkey Kong who kidnapped Pauline, which made me think that Donkey Kong was evil for 5 years. Thankfully, Otacon told me it was not Donkey Kong.
The Donkey Kong who fought that epic battle with Mario was this guy's grandfather.
Donkey Kong, sorry for beating you up in Melee all those years. Cranky Kong was the one that was actually guilty. Cranky Kong refers to Donkey Kong as his good-for-nothing son. What a loving father. And on top of that, he thinks Donkey Kong is weak, even though Donkey Kong went on quite a few adventures to save the entire island. Now, while I haven't played Donkey Kong Land, I heard that Cranky Kong had King K. Rool steal Donkey Kong's bananas again because, according to his logic, Donkey Kong cannot win on a portable console. And every time Donkey Kong accomplishes something, Cranky comes up with childish excuses to why Donkey Kong accomplished them. I thought Cranky Kong was supposed to be super smart. Okay, Cranky Kong is smart, but he just doesn't act smart. And sometimes he even resorts to ruining an awesome ending by bragging that he can accomplish the game better than you. And he actually expects me to feel good of him? I would have if he was actually likable. You know what? I don't think I can unleash any more rage, so maybe I'll calm myself down by playing the Fun Brain Arcade. Alright, let's type in the password where I last left off, and... What the? If you've been playing the Fun Brain Arcade and got past Mighty Guy 2, then you will be massively disappointed that you can't play Croc Hopper. Instead, there's a turtle and the words "coming soon." And if you like to keep checking up on it to see if the game is available, then this image will be engraved into your very skull. I know what you're thinking. This game isn't out yet. Well, why do they even bother creating an unfinished game anyways? Then nobody will have to be kept waiting. Besides, I swear, 6 years ago I went to Fun Brain, got to that part, and it was still there. I keep doing it at least once a week, and I still can't play Croc Hopper. So I took a break from Fun Brain. Then I played through the Funbrain Arcade. Well, it's been 6 years and the new game must have— Oh, come on! 6 years and it's still not released? I've officially lost all my hope for the future of the Funbrain Arcade. It's like the turtle is constantly rubbing it in our face that we'll never see Crackhopper. I know the developers are to blame for the fact that we can't play the game, but the turtle keeps rubbing it in our face. It makes me feel like it's the one causing the problem. Okay, maybe I'm kind of pushing it, but I still hate that turtle. While I think turtles are awesome, this turtle needs to die. The Zelda series. One of the best gaming franchises ever. It has so many amazing games and lovable characters. However, there are some characters that I just don't know what Nintendo was smoking when they made them. So who was on the list? Is it Navi? No, I never hated her. She was actually not that annoying in my eyes. At least she gave you vital information, and at least she was trying to help. What about K-Por Gaybor? Him I actually do hate, but at least he could fly over to places at times, and not all of his speeches were about stuff you already knew. Besides, like Navi, he at least tried to help. And Tingle? I despised this cheapskate, but again, he was trying to help. While Fee was really close, she's pretty much the same deal as the other three. Instead, I'm talking about Demise. His concept is one of the most cliched in any video game. He's a demon who must not be resurrected no matter what, or else he could wreak havoc on the world. Yeah, we so haven't seen that before. Also, you fight him 4 times throughout the game, 3 in his imprisoned form. The first one is too easy. You may have a limited time to kill him, but he walks up the hill at a really slow speed, and all you do to kill him is slice his toes to knock him over, then jab the thing into his head, and repeat that 3 times. In the second fight, they actually managed to take a boss that's way too easy and make it frustratingly annoying, even if it is a challenge. His feet can generate shockwaves, which will make you trip constantly, and his tail can hit you as well, which is a complete aggravation. The third fight isn't as bad because it's at least awesome that you can launch yourself onto him using the Grusinator. But the final phase with him is just plain disappointing. There was a really dark cutscene making me think that this was going to be an awesome final battle, but it turned out to be a big disappointment. For one thing, to resurrect himself, he has to consume Princess Zelda's soul. Ugh, I hate cannibals! The fight itself has only 2 redeeming factors, the music and scenery. In the first phase, he puts you in a void where you can't use the Skyward Strike, which you think would make it a challenge, but the first phase ends really quickly anyways. Then the second phase is even worse. Now you can use a more powerful version of the Skyward Strike, which you'd assume would be a redeeming factor, but instead, it makes the fight too easy. All you do is hit him a few times with it, then when he's down, uses a finishing stab. The only hard part about it is the fact that you keep bouncing over him because of the game's horrible controls. This was an awesome concept for a final boss, but it was really easy. I want a refund. Though he at least admires your skill, which keeps him from being higher on the list. Mother Brain. Every Metroid player hates Mother Brain. In the original Metroid, she's plain boring. All you do is constantly shoot missiles at her, and you're being rained on by Rinkas. So frustrating! And in Zero Mission, they actually managed to take the worst Metroid boss ever and make it even worse. They made you only be able to hit her in the eye, and only when it opens. And when it opens, sometimes she attacks. Gosh, I hate Mother Brain. Even in Super Metroid, where she's not as annoying because the frustrating part ends quicker, she kills the Metroid hatchling. While I've played other M, I haven't gotten past the Metroid Queen yet, but the Ultra said Mother Brain's the final boss. Except all you have to do to win is just lock your cursor on her, and you win automatically. Because after that, it triggers a cutscene. And Samus doesn't even get to kill Mother Brain. I mean, come on! Well, at least Mother Brain still got killed. But can you believe there's a character I actually hate more than Mother Brain? Before we get to him, let's do a recap. Number 15, Joka. Number 14, Garnet. Number 13, Mr. Dream. Number 12, Hev. Number 11, Mumbo. Number 10, Patrick Star, half awake while holding his tongue. Number 9, Kamek. Number 8, Saix. Number 7, Dorman. Number 6, Birdo. Number 5, Not a True Genius. Number 4, Let Me Play Crockhopper. Number 3, Demise. And number 2, Mother Brain. Remember when I said I can still put a Mario character on here? Well, here it is. I better warn you. It's a character who everyone loves. And that character is Dimentio. After you defeat Count Bleck, he reveals to you that he was controlling Count Bleck all along. Since Dimentio was controlling Count Bleck, he was the one behind everything bad that happened in the game. The forced bestiality marriage between Bowser and Peach, and almost destroying all worlds. And he is the final boss and didn't get any build-up. This is what the Autarch of Flame was talking about when he was talking about random final bosses on his worst cliches list. I normally find plot twists like this to be awesome, as long as they don't happen like within 5 minutes before the final fight with him. Then, Dimentio possesses Luigi and transforms into Super Dimentio. Wanna know what it looks like? I'd rather not tell you because you'll be disappointed. Want me to show you anyways? Okay, fine, I'll show you. Wow. That is lame. The fight is pathetically easy too, because just like the other bosses, all you do is have Bowser combined with Thudley and pound him into the ground. The only difference is that you have to climb the platforms, which Mario can easily do. Even if he has you against the wall, just flip to 3D and walk around him. What a ripoff! I wanted a bigger challenge. Dimentio, you stink. For someone who tried to destroy all worlds, he should have been a challenge, but he's too easy. And want to know what the worst part about this is? His death is not even satisfying in the slightest. When he dies, he laughs about how all worlds will still be destroyed. Which eventually they aren't, because Count Bleck and Tippy are forced to sacrifice themselves. Even still, why couldn't Dimentio have a more satisfying death? Dimentio is in my mind the worst video game character ever. He has no build-up, he's annoying, and has one of the worst final bosses ever. Now if you happen to like him, that's perfectly fine, but he is my most hated character in gaming history. Alright Mario, now show him who's boss.